The government of Japan has established an advanced nurturing high school in Tokyo. The school gives students total freedom but crushes them under a savage rank system, with Class A on top and Class D in the dirt. To dodge his abusive father, a guy named Kiyotaka Ayanok enrolls in the school but is placed in Class D, the garbage bin of this elite academy. Instead of giving up, he teams up with his cold, selfish classmate Suzune Horikita, whose brother sits on the student council, and the two face Kikyo Kushio to fight their way into a higher class. One morning, a quiet and normal-looking boy named Ayanokoji Kiyotaka travels to his new school called Tokyo Metropolitan Advanced Nurturing High School. This school is very special and only takes in the smartest and most talented students in Japan. It also promises every student a job after graduation. Ayanokoji takes a bus to the school along with other new students. While sitting on the bus, Ayanokoji watches a scene unfold. A kind old woman gets on, but there are no empty seats. A blonde-haired girl stands up and asks other students to give their seat to the elderly woman so she can rest. But no one listens to her, and everyone stays seated. In the end, someone finally gives up their seat, and the bus ride continues calmly. Ayanokoji quietly watches the whole thing without saying a word. Later, when Ayanokoji arrives at school, he walks toward his classroom. On his way there, the same blonde-haired girl stops him. She asks him why he was staring at her earlier on the bus. Ayanokoji calmly replies that he was not staring and that he just happened to be looking in her direction. The girl then says something proud and cold, acting like she is better than others. Ayanokoji stays quiet and lets her finish before heading to class. The school welcomes all the new students with an official speech. The student council president gives a long speech about how great the school is and how students here have a bright future. Ayanokoji listens quietly and finds out that the girl from earlier is in the same class as him, Class 1D. Even more surprising, she is sitting right next to him.
Oh my god! Wow!
After the orientation, everyone in Class 1D gathers in their classroom to wait for their teacher. While waiting, one of the students who acts like a leader suggests that everyone should introduce themselves so they can make friends more easily. When it is Ayanokoji's turn, he feels nervous. He thinks his life is boring and that no one would be interested in him. Still, he gives a short and simple introduction, saying he has nothing special about him. The other students clap for him anyway. Soon after, their homeroom teacher walks in. Her name is Chabashira Sei. She looks serious and does not smile much. She gives each student a rule book and explains how things work at this school. She tells them that they must live in school dorms and are not allowed to leave the campus often. But she also says they don't need to worry because the school has many fun places like a movie theater and a park. Then she tells them something exciting. Every student will receive 100,000 points at the start of each month. These points are like money and can only be used inside the school to buy food, clothes, and other things. The students are happy and excited. After class ends, Ayanokoji visits the school store to buy some items. There he sees the blonde girl again. Ayanokoji tries to talk to her and asks for her name. She says her name is Horikita Suzune. He notices she is only buying cheap items, even though she has lots of points to spend. He tries to have a friendly conversation with her, but she clearly does not want to be friends. She says she does not need anyone. Suddenly, they hear someone yelling loudly nearby. They rush over to see what's happening. They find one of their classmates named Sudo in a fight with students from Class 1C. Sudo has anger issues and often gets into trouble. Ayanokoji helps stop the fight before things get worse. A few days later, it's in Class 1D begin forming friend groups. Ayanokoji notices that he is left out and feels like a failure when it comes to making friends. He walks alone in the hallway and meets a cheerful girl named Kusita. She talks to him and says she wants to be friends with Suzune. She asks Ayanokoji if he can share some information about her. School continues and students begin relaxing more. During one class, Ayanokoji notices that many students aren't paying attention to their teacher. They talk and joke around, not taking anything seriously. After class, Ayanokoji talks with Suzune about it. She says she is surprised that the teacher is letting them act this way. Later that day, Ayanokoji invites Suzune to go to the cafe with him. She does not really want to go, but she agrees. They find a quiet table and sit together. Then Kushida comes over and tries to join their conversation. Suzune becomes suspicious. She does not trust Kushida and leaves quickly. Kushida follows her and begs to be her friend, but Suzune refuses and walks away. On his way back to his dorm, Ayanokoji sees Kushida talking and laughing with students from other classes. They discuss the point system and how they are spending their points. Ayanokoji quietly returns to his room. That night, he thinks deeply. He realizes that most of his classmates are wasting their points carelessly. They buy expensive items without thinking about the future. He worries about what might happen next. The next morning is the first day of a new month. All the students are excited, thinking they will receive another 100,000 points. But when their teacher Sei enters the classroom, she looks serious. She tells them some shocking news. She says that the school does not give points automatically every month. Instead, points are given based on how well each class performs. The better the class does, the more points they get. Sei then says that she gave Class 1D a very low score because they did not take their studies seriously, did not follow the rules, and disrespected their teachers. Because of this, they will receive 0 points this month. Everyone in the class is shocked and upset. Some students begin to panic, others blame each other, and a few start to cry. They don't know what to do next. Ayano Koji stays quiet but watches everything. He knows things will only get harder from now on. The weather is hot, and many students from Class D go to the swimming pool to relax. They splash in the water, play games, and try to cool down from the heat. Ayano Koji and Suzune sit near the pool, watching their classmates. They notice Kushida, who is cheerful and has a lot of energy, playing in the water with a group of girls. She laughs and swims around, making everyone smile. As they watch, Suzune becomes curious. She turns to Ayano Koji and asks him about the S system. Ayano Koji explains that this is the school's way of ranking classes. There are 4 classes A, B, C, and D. Class A is the best, and Class D is the lowest. When students join the school, each class starts with 100 points. These points go down if the students behave badly, break rules, or do poorly in their studies. By the end of the first month, Class D had lost all their points because many students did not care about rules or learning. Ayano Koji tells Suzune that if they want to gain points again, they need to prove they are serious. They must work hard, study well, pass their tests, and follow the rules. Suzune says she wants to reach Class A, but Ayano Koji reminds her that she is part of Class D now, just like the rest of them, even if she thinks they are failures. Then, Suzune looks at Ayano Koji's hands and asks if he plays any sports. He tells her no, he does not. At that moment, Kushida steps out of the pool and asks Suzune to swim with her again. Suzune refuses and walks away without saying much. She does not like getting close to others. Later, the class representative gathers everyone near the pool and tells them that if they want more points, they have to work together as a team. From far away, Suzune watches and looks annoyed. She does not believe in teamwork. Meanwhile, somewhere else in the school, the student council president congratulates one of the other classes for getting 940 points. Clearly, some classes are doing very well. After PE ends, students change into their school uniforms and return to class. During lunch break, Suzune invites Ayano Koji to eat with her. She even buys him an expensive lunch. While they eat, she tells him her plan to help the class. She wants to make a study group for the weaker students so they can pass the upcoming exams and help the class earn points again. Ayano Koji is not interested. He prefers to stay out of attention, but Suzune insists and says he has no choice. She gives him her contact details and leaves it to him to decide. Ayano Koji later tries to talk to some of the students who are doing badly in class. He asks them if they want to join the study group, but they all say no. That night, Ayano Koji calls Kushida using the phone line inside the dorm. She answers and asks what's going on. Ayano Koji asks her if she can help by watching over Sudo and some of the weaker students during study sessions. Kushida is kind and agrees to help. She also shares her contact number so things can be organized better. Later, Ayano Koji finds out that Kushida already convinced 3 of the weakest students to join. He then calls Suzune to tell her the good news and asks if Kushida can be the one to lead the group. But Suzune says no. She does not trust Kushida. When Kushida hears about this, she decides to take matters into her own hands. The next day, Ayano Koji, Suzune, and Kushida arrange a small meeting to talk to the weak students and convince them to join. But things don't go well. Suzune talks down to the students and treats them like they're not smart. This hurts their feelings and they leave before the interviews even begin. After they leave, Suzune becomes frustrated. She tells Ayano Koji and Kushida that asking for their help might have been a mistake. Kushida also stands up, now angry, and says she will handle things herself. As she walks away, Suzune feels insulted and asks what Kushida really wants. Kushida does not answer and leaves with tears in her eyes. Ayano Koji quietly watches everything. Later at night, Ayano Koji steps outside to get some fresh air. He sees Suzune speaking to someone near a quiet area of the school. That person is the student council president, her older brother. He is angry and disappointed in her. He can't believe that she, his own sister, is in Class D, the lowest class. He grabs her by the collar and is about to hit her. Before he can strike, Ayano Koji quickly steps in and stops him. The president tries to attack Ayano Koji for interrupting, but Ayano Koji easily dodges every move. The president is surprised. He asks about Ayano Koji's background and how he's so skilled. It is revealed that Ayano Koji got exactly 50 marks on every entrance test. He did it on purpose so that he could be placed in Class D. The student council president is shocked and walks away after that. Ayano Koji and Suzune sit down on a bench nearby and talk. Suzune asks him if he really cheated on the test to get a low score. Ayano Koji just smiles and says it's all a coincidence. Then, they talk about their classmates and the school system in general. The next few days pass normally. Students attend their classes, and everyone prepares for the upcoming tests. Eventually, the midterm exam results are announced. Their teacher, Sei, walks into the class and gives them the good news. Most of the students have passed. The class cheers and feels proud for the first time. The students of Class D feel very happy and excited. Their midterm test results are out, and most of them have passed. Everyone cheers loudly in the classroom. They know that if someone deserves the most thanks, it is Kushida. She worked really hard to help the weaker students study, especially in the hardest subjects. Her efforts made a big difference. But things weren't always so peaceful. Just 3 days before the test, Ayano Koji sees Sudo in another fight. This time, it's again with some boys from Class C. Sudo gets angry easily and is hard to control. During the fight, the leader of Class C, a guy named Ryun, shows up. Ryun mocks Sudo and even tries to bully. The situation becomes dangerous. Sudo is surrounded and helpless. It looks like they are about to hurt him for fun. Suddenly, Aikinos from Class B appears and stops them. She is calm but firm, and Ryun and his gang have no choice but to back off. They walk away without causing more trouble. Ayano Koji, who has been watching quietly, tells Sudo to control his anger and avoid fights like this in the future. After things settle down, Ayano Koji talks to Sudo and asks him to join the study group with Kushida. But Sudo refuses and says he would rather go to basketball practice. That evening, after his practice ends, Suzune meets Sudo near the auditorium. She hands him some notes and subject summaries. She tells him that if he wants to keep playing basketball, he has to study and pass his tests. Sudo listens carefully this time and agrees to read the notes. The next day, Kushida meets Ayano Koji at the school cafeteria. She wants to buy us some past exam paper from a senior student to help everyone prepare. The older student agrees to share the old test questions but asks for 30 points in return. Kushida and Ayano Koji think the price is too high, so they try to make a better deal. After some talk, they agree on the 15 points, and the student agrees. Later, after eating, Ayano Koji and Kushida sit outside to take a short break. Kushida asks him if using past test papers is allowed. Ayano Koji explains that the school rules don't stop them from using old questions. In fact, it's a smart move. Soon, they receive the past papers. Ayano Koji checks the questions and compares them with a test from 3 years ago. To his surprise, the questions are exactly the same. Kushida gets excited and is full of energy again. Ayano Koji tells her not to mention his name and instead say that she got the papers herself. He wants to avoid being in the spotlight. A day before the exam, Kushida gives the test papers to everyone in the class. She tells them to study seriously and prepare well. The students feel better and start working hard. Everyone feels thankful and respects her even more. Now, back to the present. Their teacher, Sei, walks into class and says that most students did well. However, she also shares some sad news. There is one student who couldn't get the minimum score needed to pass. It's Sudo. He scored 39, but the pass mark was 40. Because of that, he is now at risk of being expelled from the school. The class is shocked. Many students get up and try to convince Sei to forgive Sudo and let him stay. But she stays firm and tells them that the rules are clear. She leaves the classroom without changing her mind. Ayano Koji quietly follows her to the rooftop. He starts talking to her about rules, fairness, and doing the right thing. But Sei tells him to get to the point. Ayano Koji asks her if she can adjust Sudo's score by just 1 point so he won't be expelled. Sei laughs and says she won't do that. Then Ayano Koji asks if there's a way to buy a point using school points. Sei says it's possible but very expensive. It would cost 100,000 points. Ayano Koji does not have that many points, so he starts thinking of another way. Just then, Suzune joins them. She offers to pay half of the amount. She says she will give 50,000 points if Ayano Koji can pay the other half. Together, they can save Sudo. Sei finally agrees. She accepts the offer with a small smile, knowing she has no other choice now. After school, Ayano Koji thanks Suzune for her help, but Suzune says she did not do it for Sudo. She only did it because it helps her goal of moving Class D up the ranks. Ayano Koji tells her that he knows the truth. He says she gave herself a lower score in the exam on purpose to make the weaker students feel less bad. Suzune becomes embarrassed and lightly scolds him for saying that. That evening, all the students gathered in Ayano Koji's room to celebrate. Everyone is happy that Sudo gets to stay at school. They eat, laugh, and thank each other. The students ask Ayano Koji how he convinced Sei to change her mind, but Ayano Koji just points to Suzune and says it was all her doing. After the party, only Kushida and Ayano Koji stay behind to clean up. Before she leaves, Kushida suddenly asks him if he likes Suzune. Ayano Koji replies that Suzune is just his neighbor, nothing more. Kushida smiles and says okay. But soon after, Ayano Koji notices that she forgot her phone in his room. He picks it up and decides to return it. He goes to her dorm room, but she is not there, so he follows the path she might have taken. After a short walk, he finds her. To his shock, he sees Kushida shouting at Suzune in a rude and angry way. Her face no longer looks sweet, it's full of rage. She yells at Suzune for always acting strict and cold. Ayano Koji hides quietly and watches. Then suddenly, Kushida realizes someone is watching. She turns and sees Ayano Koji. Her sweet voice is gone. She becomes someone else entirely. With a scary face, she asks him if he saw anything. Ayano Koji tries to lie and says no, he did not see anything. Kushida does not believe him. She walks closer and threatens him. She says if he ever tells anyone about what he saw, she will falsely accuse him of something terrible, like hurting her. She says she will destroy his life if he speaks a word. Ayano Koji realizes how dangerous she really is. He promises to stay quiet. Then, just like that, Kushida returns to her sweet, innocent self, smiling like nothing ever happened. The next day at school, the teacher of Class 1B gives an update to her students about their class points. At the same time, Ayano Koji is heading down to the dorms with Suzune and Kushida in the elevator. As they ride down, Ayano Koji remembers what he saw the night before, how Kushida had changed completely and shouted at Suzune when no one was around. He finds it strange that Kushida is now standing close to Suzune again, acting friendly like nothing happened. Suddenly, Suzune stops the elevator before reaching the ground floor and quietly steps out. Her face looks cold, and Kushida seems sad watching her leave like that. A little later, Ichinos from Class B walks by and asks Ayano Koji and Kushida if Class D already got their monthly points. She seems to already know the answer, which surprises both of them. Later in class, their homeroom teacher Sei arrives and tells the students that there is a delay in the points distribution for Class D. Something went wrong with the point system, and they will have to wait a bit longer to find out how many points they earned this time. After class, Ichinos asks Ayano Koji to meet her later. She chooses a quiet spot on campus, and Ayano Koji goes there after school. When he arrives, he sees that Ichinos is already waiting. She does not waste time and quickly explains why she called him. She tells him that someone left a letter in her locker and wants to date her. Ichinos does not want to hurt the person's feelings directly, so she asks Ayano Koji to pretend to be her boyfriend, just for a week or so until the other person gives up. Ayano Koji thinks it's a bad idea. He tells her that she should just be honest and let the person know how she really feels. Before they can talk more, the girl who wrote the love letter, named Kiero, shows up. Ayano Koji quietly steps aside so the two girls can talk alone. A little while later, Chiro runs away crying. She looks heartbroken. Ichinos comes out looking calm and thanks Ayano Koji for being there with her. When Ayano Koji returns to class, he finds Sudo yelling loudly in front of everyone. He says he's being blamed again by Class C for starting another fight. Sudo claims he was only defending himself and did not do anything wrong, but because of his hot temper and past behavior, no one really believes him. Most of the class starts to doubt him too. Later that night, Ryu, the leader of Class C, is seen relaxing in a school bar. One of his teammates, who was hurt in the fight with Sudo, comes in and reports what happened. Instead of being worried or helping him, Ryun tells his men to beat him up even more. He wants to make it look like Class C is the real victim in front of the school staff. The next day, Suzune asks Ayano Koji if he ever regrets helping Sudo stay in school. She wonders if maybe it would have been better if he had been expelled earlier. But Ayano Koji disagrees. He tells her that moving up in class ranks is something they can only do as a team. Losing anyone from the class would only make things harder. Just then, the class representative gathers everyone and says they must do something to prove Sudo's innocence. The whole class agrees to help, including Ayano Koji. Everyone wants to work together except Suzune. She does not say anything and simply walks away. Later, Kushida meets with Ayano Koji and sets up a meeting by the fountain with two other students. Ichinos joins them as well and offers to help solve the case. Ayano Koji refuses her offer politely. He tells her he thinks she might have another reason for wanting to get involved. Ichinos tells him to relax. She says she only wants to support them and means no harm. The investigation starts, and everyone begins collecting information about the fight. They want to find out the truth and clear Sudo's name. During their search, Ichinos receives an anonymous text message. The message gives a useful clue about the case. She wants to send some points as thanks to the person who sent it but does not know how, since the sender did not share their name. Ayano Koji helps her figure it out. While helping her, he also finds out something surprising. Ichinos has over 2.6 million private points saved. This is shocking because every student normally has only about 100,000. Later that evening, everyone gathers in Ayano Koji's room to share what they've found so far. A short while later, Suzune joins the group. She announces that she has discovered who sent the anonymous text earlier. It was Sakura, one of their classmates. Apparently, Sakura saw the fight happen and is the only witness. Sakura is sitting alone in a dark room when she receives a call from Kushida, but she does not answer. She seems scared. Back in Ayano Koji's room, Suzune tells everyone not to worry about Sakura for now. She says her testimony may not be important in the end. Later that night, Kushida visits Ayano Koji and asks to take a walk around the school. As they walk, Ayano Koji starts talking about truth, justice, and what's right or wrong. Kushida asks him if he really understands Suzune or if he's just pretending. Ayano Koji replies that no one can truly understand another person fully. Kushida looks like she wants to say something more, but she stops halfway through her sentence and quietly walks away. The next day, Kushida goes to meet Sakura and asks her directly about the fight, but Sakura gets nervous and quickly apologizes. She says she did not do anything to help and walks away without explaining much. Ayano Koji begins to wonder what secret Kushida is hiding. He has a strange feeling about her and starts to think maybe she works online as a webcam girl, but he has no proof, so he keeps quiet for now. Later that day, Sakura meets Ayano Koji and Kushida at the campus shopping mall. Sakura's camera got damaged when she accidentally bumped into Kushida before, so she brought it to get repaired. The tech guy at the repair shop checks the camera and says it can be fixed since it's still under warranty. However, the technician acts very creepy. He starts asking Sakura for her phone number and other personal details. Sakura feels uncomfortable and scared. She does not want to give her contact info. Ayano sees this and quickly steps in. He writes his own name and number on the form and tells the man to call him when the repair is done. Sakura feels relieved and thanks Ayano for his help. Later, the three sit under a shelter nearby to relax. Kushida goes to the bathroom, leaving Ayano and Sakura alone. Sakura quietly asks Ayano if he thinks she should speak up about the fight she saw. She is unsure what to do. Ayano gently tells her she should do whatever she believes is right. But then he adds that she should testify not because of others, but for her own peace of mind. Kushida comes back and tells Ayano they should talk later that night. She wants to meet him at Mayfall to eat and have a private talk. That night, Ayano meets Kushida as planned. During their conversation, Kushida reveals something shocking. Sakura really is a webcam girl. Ayano earlier guess turns out to be true. Sakura wears glasses at school to hide her identity from others. She does not want anyone to find out about her secret life. While they talk, Sakura sends a message to Kushida. In the text, she says she has made her decision. She is going to testify about what she saw. The next day, Suzune confronts Ayano. She's upset because she thinks he's spending too much time with Kushida and ignoring her. But Ayano stays calm. He avoids the drama and focuses on the serious situation they are dealing with. By the afternoon, selected students from Class 1D and Class C are called to the student council for a formal trial. The school president is acting as the judge. Ayano, Kushida, Suzune, and Sudo are all there to represent Class 1D. The students from Class C are there too, along with their own representatives. The case is about the fight between Sudo and 3 Class C students. After the president reads the details of the case, Sudo suddenly loses his temper. He admits that he was the one who started the fight. When it's Suzune's turn to speak, Ayano notices that she is lost in thought. Her brother, who is part of the student council, is in the room. She seems nervous and unable to focus. Ayano quietly encourages her. He tells her to think about the class and to speak up for the sake of Sudo. Suzune finally pulls herself together. She stands up and questions the Class C boys one by one. She points out how strange it is for one boy like Sudo to beat up 3 strong students without getting hurt himself. But the boys stay silent and deny everything. Then, Suzune calls Sakura to testify. Sakura nervously steps forward and tells everyone what she saw that day in the gym. The lawyer from Class C tries to stop her testimony by calling it hearsay, meaning it's just her words without proof. However, Sakura says she has proof. She pulls out a flash drive and hands it to the president. The president plugs it in and plays the files. At first, there are some personal photos of Sakura, but they keep clicking through until they find one important photo. In the picture, the 3 boys from Class C are holding Sudo and threatening him. Seeing the clear evidence, the lawyer from Class C knows they are in trouble. He stops arguing and asks the council to give both sides a light punishment. He suggests a short suspension. But Suzune refuses. She says she does not want a deal. She wants the real truth to come out. Then she looks at her brother, the president, and asks him to give a fair decision. He tells everyone that the meeting is paused and will continue at 4 p.m. the next day. After the trial ends, Sakura feels embarrassed. She says sorry to Ayano for not being stronger. But Ayano praises her. He says she should be proud of standing up and helping the class. As they leave, the school president walks over to speak with them. He looks at Ayano and Sakura and asks if they truly believe the boys from Class C are guilty. Ayano answers with confidence. He says he knows the truth and promises to prove everything in the next meeting. Sakura is a quiet girl who keeps her distance from most people. She does not like being involved in others' lives and prefers to stay alone. The reason for this is that she has had scary experiences before. She often posts pictures of herself on the internet, and because of that, she gets strange letters from someone she does not know. These letters are from a person who says they love her. This frightens her, and that's why she avoids close relationships. Elsewhere, Suzune, Horikita, and Ayano are together, walking through a staircase area. They are investigating something important. While checking the place carefully, Suzune finds a clue that helps them understand the situation better. Later on, Ayano walks into his classroom. Sakura is already there, waiting for the others. When he greets her, she jumps in surprise. He smiles and tells her to relax. Then he tells Sakura that thanks to her bravery and help recently, the class might start to believe in her more. Hearing this, Sakura becomes shy and blushes a little. She wants to say something to him, but just then Ayano gets a message from Kikyo Kushida and says he has to go. He promises to listen to her later. At the same time, 3 boys from Class C are trying to frame Kin Sado by saying he attacked them. They lie and claim that Kikyo called them to meet. But when Ayano and Suzune appear, the boys realize their plan might be ruined. They try to leave quickly, but Suzune stops them. She shows them the security cameras nearby, which have recorded everything. The boys now panic, because the footage clearly shows that they started the fight. The boys ask why the school council hasn't done anything yet. Ayano Koji calmly explains that the council is watching quietly to see how students handle problems themselves. The boys become nervous, knowing that they could be expelled. Ayano Koji then tells them that there's still a way to avoid punishment. They don't believe him at first, but Suzune adds that if they simply take back their lies, everyone will be safe. One of the boys, Daichi Ishizaki, tries to make a phone call for help, but Suzune knocks his phone away and calls him weak for being someone else's puppet. Daichi gets angry and grabs her, but she reminds him about the cameras still watching. His friends beg him to stop. Finally, Daichi gives in and agrees to withdraw the complaint. Meanwhile, Sakura is shopping at the school store. She suddenly feels like someone is following her. She tries to walk faster and escape, but the person continues to trail her. She grows more and more afraid. On the other hand, Ayano Koji is meeting with Honami Echinos. He thanks her for letting him borrow points to install cameras. Hanami understands and says she's surprised at how smart he is. She wonders why someone like him is in Class D, but Ayano Koji says it was actually Suzune's plan, not his. Hanami seems to find that hard to believe but chooses not to push him for more answers. She just smiles. Suddenly, Ayano Koji's phone rings. It's Sakura and she sounds very scared. Before she can finish her sentence, the call ends. Her phone is knocked out of her hand. She is now being held against a wall by a man. This man is Yukitsu Kazuta, the store worker who appeared earlier. He is revealed to be the stalker who has been sending her the letters. He becomes angry and demands to know why she did not answer him or reply to his feelings. Sakura is terrified. As she cries in fear, she remembers Ayano Koji's promise to help her. She tries to reach her phone, but Yukitsu pins her down and threatens to hurt her. He even says he'll post her private pictures online if she does not do what he says. Seeing her scared face, he becomes more violent and tries to force himself on her. Sakura struggles. Suddenly, a camera flash lights up the room. Yukitsu turns to see Ayano Koji standing there, holding his phone. Ayano Koji calmly says that he now has evidence of Yukitsu's crime and that he'll become news the next day. Yukitsu tries to deny everything, but Ayano Koji points out the cameras that recorded everything. Now realizing he's in big trouble, Yukitsu starts to panic and runs. But Hanami blocks his way. She has brought security guards who quickly arrest Yukitsu. The man begins to cry as he's taken away. Once the danger is over, Ayano Koji speaks gently to Sakura. He explains how he found her. He used a phone tracking app because they exchanged numbers earlier. Sakura apologizes for dragging him into such a mess. Ayano Koji tells her it's not her fault. He says that being an idol or someone who shares pictures online sometimes brings unwanted attention. Sakura removes her glasses and says she wants to live without pretending anymore. Ayano Koji tells her not to carry this burden alone and to come to him if she ever needs help. He reaches out his hand and Sakura gratefully takes it. She thanks him. As she looks into his eyes, she notes that he has never looked at her with judgment or pity. When he asks what she means, she just laughs softly. Elsewhere, on the rooftop of the school, Sei Chabashira, a teacher, is smoking and waiting. Suzune arrives and asks why she was called. Sei says she wants to know how Class C's complaint was withdrawn. She asks if Suzune did anything. Suzune does not give a clear answer. Sei changes the topic and says that if Suzune truly wants to reach Class A, she needs to understand how deep Ayano Koji really is. Meanwhile, Ayano Koji meets Ken Suda in the school courtyard. Ken says the complaint was suddenly removed and wonders why. Ayano Koji congratulates him but does not explain much. Ken wonders if Suzune helped and praises her as she did. Then Ken goes off to his basketball practice. Back on the rooftop, Suzune asks what Sei means by depths of Ayano Koji. Sei says that although he is clever and cunning, the school placed him in Class D, which is supposed to be for students with problems. She adds that she thinks Ayano Koji is the most mysterious one of them all. Sei clearly believes there's more to him than he shows. Later, Ayano Koji is walking in the school hall and meets Manabu, the student council president, along with his secretary Akane. Manabu says he approved the case closure. He asks if Ayano Koji planned everything to prove Sakura's innocence. But Ayano Koji once again says that Suzune handled it all. Manabu then asks if there is an open position in the student council. Akane confirms and Manabu offers the role to Ayano Koji. She is shocked but Manabu is serious. Ayano Koji declines the offer. He says he only wants a normal student life. Manabu accepts his decision for now but warns him not to disappoint his expectations. Then they both leave and Ayano Koji notices Suzune nearby. She looks serious. Elsewhere, Kakeru Raiwan, the leader of Class C, is furious at his classmates. He asks who decided to cancel the complaint against Ken. When he hears that it was a group decision, he becomes angrier. He orders Albert Yamada to punish them. Albert follows his orders, even though he apologizes before doing it. One student looks horrified watching the beating. Kakeru says the failure ruined his plan to test how the school reacts when a weaker student is expelled. He wants to know who set up his classmates and demands their names. At the same time, students from Class A arrive where Kakeru is. Their leader, Arisu Sakayanaji, walks up. Kakeru recognizes her and mocks her by asking if she plans to rule the school. Arisu laughs and says that's not her goal. Kakeru says he will destroy all the other classes. Arisu playfully asks if he can really do that. Kakeru replies confidently that the school only needs one strong leader. Arisu smiles and agrees. Later on, it begins to rain. Ayanokoji and Suzune walk together with umbrellas. Suzune asks him if he secretly planned all the recent events. Ayanokoji is confused. She says that he must have known there were no cameras and that she could blackmail the boys. Ayanokoji calls her theory too dramatic. She reminds him of his promise to help her reach Class A. Ayanokoji replies that she forced him to make that promise. He tries to walk away, but Suzune stops him. She wants to know the real reason he helped her. She wants to know if she can trust him. Ayanokoji says he only wants to live a peaceful life. Suzune does not believe him and says if that were true, he wouldn't have helped at all. Ayanokoji answers that he was just looking out for a friend. Suzune does not accept that and keeps asking him to open up about who he is. Ayanokoji pauses and thinks about his past. A flashback shows him in a strange place, watching someone collapse in pain, but he does nothing to help. Returning to the present, Ayanokoji finally agrees to help Suzune reach Class A. Suzune seems surprised and asks if she can believe him. Ayanokoji becomes serious and tells her clearly she must not dig into his past ever again. One sunny morning, Suzune wakes up feeling fresh. She washes her face, brushes her teeth, and gets ready for the day. A few days before this, a group of boys from Class D were secretly planning something very wrong. They felt bored and lonely, so they thought of a bad idea: to secretly place a camera inside the girls' changing room at the school pool. They called it a mission to spy on the girls. Now back to the present morning, Suzune packs her swimsuit in her bag and walks toward the pool. On the way, she sees Harada, the class representative, and his new girlfriend Kei. They look very happy together. They smile and invite Suzune to hang out with them more often, but Suzune kindly says no. She does not really like joining big groups for fun. After that, she goes straight to the bus stop where everyone is meeting before going to the pool. At the bus stop, she sees Kushida chatting happily like always. Suzune watches her and wonders why Kushida is still so friendly with her, even though she does not act nicely towards Suzune most of the time. Soon Sudo, Ike, and Yamachi arrive. They are always joking around and bring a lively energy with them. Everyone finally arrives at the pool together. The girls all go into the changing room to put on their swimsuits. While changing, they talk and laugh. They mention how Ayanokoji is getting closer to some of the girls, especially Kushida. Kushida teases Suzune and asks if she feels jealous of Ayanokoji, but Suzune does not react. She keeps her cool and ignores the teasing. Meanwhile, away from the pool, one of the boys reminds another through a walkie-talkie that the secret mission must be finished soon. They must install the camera in the girls' changing room before the girls go back in. Sudo and Ike, who are guarding near the pool, try to keep people away from that area. They want the others to have more time to complete their bad plan. To keep everyone busy, they suggest playing a game of volleyball. At first, the girls are not very interested, but soon they agree and start playing. They begin enjoying the game and laughing together. While everyone is distracted, Yomachi dresses like a cleaning worker and sneaks into the changing room. He puts up a "Do Not Enter" sign to stop people from coming in. Inside, he climbs up and tries to hide the camera in the ceiling. Outside, Kushida keeps asking where Yomachi is. She wants to use the changing room too. One of the boys who is watching everything from far away gets nervous. He thinks they will get caught. He calls Yomachi and tells him to leave quickly. Yomachi rushes out and returns to the group, pretending like nothing happened. But soon after, Ike pretends to have a stomach problem. He runs into the changing room to try again. Some students from another class walk by and stop outside the bathroom after seeing the "Do Not Enter" sign. One of the watchers gives Sudo a signal that something is wrong. Sudo quickly runs toward the bathroom to stop Ike from doing anything worse. A fight almost starts between them. Tension grows. But just then, a girl from Class A, known as the Queen for her calm nature, steps in. She tells everyone to calm down and not fight. The student council president also steps forward and reminds everyone that fighting is not allowed. While this happens, Ike inside is almost too scared to continue the job. He thinks about giving up, but the fourth member of the group encourages him. He reminds Ike how much time and planning they already put into the plan. Ike gets his confidence back and finishes installing the camera. Outside, Ayanokoji sees the suspicious signals being passed around. He starts to understand that something is wrong. He quietly tells Suzune to give a long speech to everyone about how Class D can become the top class. He wants to keep everyone busy so the camera job finishes without raising questions. Suzune stands in front of the students and gives a strong speech. She talks about teamwork and dreams. Everyone listens. While they are busy listening, Ike finishes the camera setup and leaves the changing room. But what Ike and the boys don't know is that someone is already one step ahead of them. After Ike leaves, Kushida sneaks into the changing room and removes all the cameras that were placed there. She acts like she never knew about the plan. Then she walks outside and meets Ayanokoji near the pool. To lighten the mood, Ayanokoji playfully pushes her into the water. Kushida laughs and splashes him back. Slowly, more students join them in the pool. They all start playing swimming and having fun together. Even Suzune joins in and smiles. For once, everyone looks happy and relaxed. That night, Suzune goes to bed with a happy heart. She looks at a photo she took with her friends at the pool. Everyone is smiling. She holds the photo in her hands and thinks about how rare these moments are. She knows school can be full of secrets and plans, but today felt different. It felt peaceful. She falls asleep with a soft smile, feeling like she is slowly becoming part of something special. Ayano walks quietly into a room where his teacher, Sei, is sitting. She is watching a play being performed on a large, beautiful ship. The play is about Icarus, a boy from an old story who tries to fly with wings his father made. But Ayano does not enjoy the play. He thinks it's a silly show and a waste of money, especially since it's being paid for by the school using government funds. They are on a luxury cruise ship for their summer vacation, which the school has arranged for all the students. While others are enjoying it, Ayano finds it pointless. Sei does not waste time. She tells him that earlier, a certain man came to the school and asked her to remove Ayano from the school. The man wanted him expelled, even though Ayano hadn't broken any rules. Ayano feels shocked and confused. He hasn't done anything wrong, so he should be safe. But Sei reminds him that as his teacher, she has the power to remove him from the school with or without a reason. She then gives him a choice. If he agrees to help her class rise up and become Class A, she will not expel him. Ayano becomes angry for the first time. He warns her not to trick him. But Sei calmly says that he does not have much of a choice. Either he helps her class succeed or he gets kicked out. Ayano finally agrees, though he is not happy about it. The next day, students come out of their rooms to look around the big cruise ship. It's called the Esperanza. The ship has everything: pools, games, fancy restaurants, and even places to get massages. Everyone is excited. Some boys from Class D, Ayano Aikimachi, and Sudo explore together. Ike has had a crush on a girl named Kushida for a while. He decides this is the perfect time to ask her to be his girlfriend. He gathers all his courage, walks up to her, and gets too nervous. Instead of asking her out, he ends up talking about something else. Watching Ike fail makes Sudo feel brave. He asks Ayano to tell him more about Suzune so he can try asking her out later. Ayano gives him a few tips. Later that day, the boys go to the ship's fancy restaurant to eat. But the menu is so hard to understand that they all start calling loudly for help. They don't understand what any of the food names mean. Some students from class laugh at them and insult them. Sudo loses his temper and yells back. Other students whisper about how Sudo can't control his anger. The Class D boys get embarrassed and leave the restaurant. In another room on the ship, two teachers are getting massages. They talk quietly about the students in their classes. Meanwhile, Ayano goes back to his room alone. He needs time to think about Sei's warning. As he sits in silence, someone knocks. It's Harada, one of his classmates. Harada asks Ayano to come hang out, but Ayano says no. Then Harada asks him to help him talk to Suzune. Before Ayano can reply, Harada's girlfriend rings, so he leaves. Elsewhere on the ship, a strange and proud student named Kuenji walks down the hallway. He's only wearing pants, and his body is wet from a shower. A butler tells him to dry off, but Kuenji keeps walking, not caring about the mess he leaves behind. A few hours later, Suzune and Ayano meet. They talk about the real reason for this cruise. Suzune thinks the school has a hidden reason for inviting all the students on this expensive vacation. As they talk, a strong boy named Ryuin walks by. He smirks and says something rude to Suzune. His ex-girlfriend Ibuki hears him and gets angry. She tries to punch him, but before she can hit him, his big friend Albert pushes her away. Ryuin and Albert leave without a care. At the same time, a teacher talks to a girl named Mizumi. The girl gives the teacher some secret information. The teacher thanks her and tells her to wait for more instructions later. That night, Sakura practices what she wants to say to Ayano. She wants to ask him for help but is nervous. Suddenly, Ayano appears behind her and says she does not have to be scared. Sakura blushes, holds his hand, and smiles. Just then, Kushida walks up to them. Sakura quickly runs away embarrassed. Ayano tries to leave, but Kushida stops him. Her kind smile fades and her serious side shows. She asks him why he avoids talking to her. Ayano does not answer. He stays quiet while she talks, then calmly walks away. The next morning, something surprising happens. All the students are asked to come outside on the ship's deck. The ship is near an island now, and the students enjoy the beautiful view. But their peaceful vacation is about to change. The teachers call all the students together and make them stand in line. Everyone wonders what's going on. Soon, Sei steps forward. She announces that the school is starting a big special test right now. It will last one whole week and will take place on the island. The students are shocked. They did not expect to study or take tests during their vacation. Some look confused, others look worried. Their fun summer break has suddenly turned into a serious challenge. The school gives all students a new test. This time, they take them to a deserted island. The teachers give some instructions before the test begins. Every class gets a tent, some basic food supplies, and 300 special points. These points are like money and can be used to buy anything during their 1-week stay on the island. Each class must decide how to use their points wisely. At the end of the week, the special points left will be changed into class points. These class points help classes go higher in school rankings. Also, there is a bonus chance to earn more points. Each class will get the chance to guess the name of the leader of other classes. If they guess correctly, they will earn 50 extra points. But if they are wrong, they will lose 50 points from their special points. After the teachers leave, Class D sits together to decide what to do. Some students want to enjoy the trip and spend all the 300 points. They don't care much about class points. But Harada and other serious students tell everyone that they should not waste their points. They explain that if they manage their money well, they will have more class points at the end. This creates a small fight among the students. Then a new problem comes up. The school gave them some portable toilets to use. But the girls don't want to use them. They are worried about getting sick because the toilets are not clean. They ask the boys to use some points to buy a better toilet that feels clean and safe. The class argues about this for some time. In the end, Ayano Koji decides to end the fight. He agrees that they should buy a clean toilet for the girls so that everyone can work together peacefully. After that, they start looking for a place to set up their camp. Harada and Ayano Koji ask for volunteers to help search for a good camping spot. The students break into small teams of 3. Ayano Koji goes with Koenji and Sakura. As they move through the forest, Koenji starts jumping on tree branches like he's playing a game. He moves so fast that Ayano Koji and Sakura can't keep up. After running for some time, Ayano Koji and Sakura find a cave. Ayano Koji remembers something Sei told him earlier. If a group finds a special marked area on the island, it will give them extra points. These points cannot be spent but will be added to their class score at the end of the test. As they look at the cave, 2 students from Class A suddenly come out. One of them is Katsuragi, the leader of Class A. They talk about what they have found on the island. Ayano Koji quickly covers Sakura's mouth and hides with her behind some bushes so they don't get caught. Katsuragi hears something and comes close to check. Luckily, he does not see them and walks away. After they leave, Ayano Koji checks the cave and sees that Class A has already claimed it. When they return to the base, they learn that Ike and Sudo have already found a good place to camp. The spot is soft grass and a river nearby. At first, the class was not sure if they should take the place. But then they realize they don't have many choices, so they decide to claim it. Suzune is chosen as the class leader. She is asked to use the special card given to leaders to claim the camping spot for Class D. After the place is claimed, students start to set up their tents. Suzune does not help anyone and waits until everything is done before entering her tent. Later that evening, one boy from the class comes to Ayano Koji. He wants advice on how to talk to Sakura because he likes her. Ayano Koji, Sakura, and the boy go for a walk in the forest to talk about it. During their walk, they find a Buki from Class C. She looks hurt and seems to have been kicked out by her own class. The students from Class D feel bad for her and offer a place to stay. She accepts it, although she does not seem very happy about it. That night, the class made a campfire, and the girls return from the forest with some fruits. Everyone thanks Ike for helping with the fire. They sit together and eat happily. Ike also says sorry to the girls for not listening to them earlier about the toilet issue. With things now calm, Harada stands up and explains how the class should spend their points. He shows them that if they are careful, they can save up to 120 points by the end of the week. Everyone listens to him and starts planning how to use their points better. A few hours later, Kushida and some other students go to check on Ibuki. Soon after, they find out that Koenji has gone back to the ship. He says he is feeling sick. This is bad news because the teacher said if anyone leaves the island without a real reason, the class will be punished. Now, Class D might lose some points because of Koenji's action. Everyone is frustrated with Koenji. He is strong and smart, but he only thinks about himself. Now, Class D has to work even harder to make up for the mistake. The first day ends with many problems, but the class is slowly learning to work together. They now know that every choice they make will affect their final score. The students are also starting to trust each other more. Even though some people are lazy or selfish, others are trying their best to support the group. Ayano Koji stays quiet most of the time, but he watches everything and helps when needed. He and Suzune both have their own plans to make Class D rise to the top. The test is still long and more challenges will come, but Class D has taken its first step. A flashback to Ayano Koji's childhood. We see young Ayano Koji sitting in a room with other kids, all solving very hard math problems, like calculus. The room looks strange, like part of a secret experiment. A supervisor walks up to Ayano Koji and tells him to make good use of the great power he has. Back in the present time, it is the second day of the island survival test. Some students catch fresh fish and pick fruits. Everyone is doing their best to survive. Harada gives out jobs to each student and makes sure food is shared fairly among all. Later, Ayano Koji and Suzune go into the forest to check the area and make sure nothing dangerous is around. Suzune is surprised that Ayano Koji is helping her with the scouting. He tells her that he wants to protect her, especially from Ryun and his followers. Suzune agrees and they continue walking. After some time, they run into Ikanos, the leader of Class B. She takes them to see Class B's camp. Ayano Koji and Suzune notice that everything in Class B's camp is neat and well organized. They are impressed by how clean and peaceful it is. After chatting for a while, they leave to explore more. Soon, they come across a Class A student guarding a cave. Ayano asks Suzune to talk to the guard and try to get permission to enter. Inside the cave is Katsuragi, a serious student from Class A. He hears the noise and comes out. He listens to what they say but warns them not to cause any problems. He allows them to enter but threatens to make things hard for them if they do anything wrong. Not wanting trouble, Ayano and Suzune decide to leave and move on. Next, they arrive at Class C's camp, where Ryun is the leader. They ask him why he used all of his class's special points so carelessly. Ryun tells them to mind their own business. Suzune also questions him about Ibuki, who was found injured and alone in the forest. Ryun admits that he beat her up and left her there. He says he does not care anymore since his class has no points left. Suzune is angry but walks away with Ayano. While they walk back, Ayano tells her that Ryun's plan might actually work. By spending all his points early, his class can enjoy the test without worrying about saving anything. On the morning of the third day, someone sneaks into one of Class D's tents while everyone is sleeping. This person steals something from K's bag. Nobody notices until the next morning. By day 4, Ayano and Sakura go on a walk into the forest. They want to explore more and enjoy nature. During their walk, they reach Class C's old campsite and find that everyone from that class is gone. Soon Ikanos and some other Class B students also show up to check the same area. Ayano joins them and asks Ikanos some questions about Katsuragi. Ichino explains that Katsuragi is very traditional and strict. She also says that another Class A student, Arisu Sakayanaji, is more modern and likes to bring change. The two are always in quiet competition. Later that night, the students of Class D gather around and start wondering why Class C disappeared. They guess maybe the students got tired of the test and gave up. Nobody really knows the truth. Suda walks over to Ibuki to ask her some questions about what happened with Class C. Ibuki gets angry and says mean things to him. She is still upset that Class D allowed Suda to leave her behind. By the 5th day, a big problem happens. Ki discovers that her underwear is missing and believes someone stole it. The girls immediately blame the boys. They call all the boys together and ask Harada to find out who did it. Harada tells the boys to line up, and everyone's bags are to be searched. Before the search starts, Ike checks his own bag, and to his shock, he finds the missing underwear inside. Someone secretly put it there to make him look guilty. Ike panics and does not know what to do. He gives the underwear to Ayano and quickly lines up for the bag's search. Ayano is now holding the underwear and knows that someone is trying to frame Ike. He hides it in his pocket and waits. Harada checks all the bags but finds nothing. The girls still don't believe it, so they ask Harada to do a full-body check. Harada starts checking again, this time searching everyone more carefully. When he reaches Ayano he feels something soft in Ayano-koji's pocket, but Harada stays calm and does not say anything. He does not tell anyone what he found. Later, Ayano finds Harada and asks him why he did not expose him. Harada says he trusts Ayano and knows he is not the type of person to steal anything. He tells Ayano that he took the blame to protect him. Before walking away, Harada asks Ayano to find out who the real thief is so that his sacrifice won't go to waste. Now Ayano knows someone is trying to hurt Class D from the inside, and he decides to quietly investigate who the real culprit is. Later that day, the girls from Class D have a meeting. They are still upset about the underwear incident. To avoid any more problems, they suggest that the boys and girls' tents should be moved far apart. The girls believe this will help prevent anything like that from happening again. They choose Harada to help move the tents since he is the class representative. But Suzune steps in and says that Harada shouldn't work alone. She adds that Ayano should help him, just to make sure everything stays safe and honest. She even jokes that this is to stop Harada from smelling anyone's underwear while doing the job. It's a bit too much, but everyone agrees, and the two boys start moving the tents. While Ayano and Harada work, one of the girls calls Harada over to help with something else. Harada leaves, and Ayano keeps working on his own. He finishes setting up the girls' tent by the evening. Just as he's finishing, Ibuki walks up to him. She wants to talk. Many people in the class still think she might be the one who stole the underwear. She asks Ayano if he thinks she did it. Surprisingly, Ayano tells her that he trusts her. Ibuki is shocked by this but also thankful. She quietly says thank you and walks away. After his work, Ayano walks back to the place where they had found Ibuki a few days earlier. He begins to search through the bushes. After a little while, he finds something strange. He does not say anything and walks back to camp quietly. 2 hours later, Suzune joins Ayano at the campfire. She sits down to talk. They start with small conversation, but Ayano is not fooled. He looks at her carefully and then tells her he knows something she's been hiding, that she's sick. Suzune tries to deny it, but her shaking body shows the truth. Ayano checks her temperature, and it's clear she's not feeling well. On the morning of day 5, Ayano, Suzune, and Ike wake up early to look for food. Other students also join them to help. During the food search, Ayano quietly asks Suzune how she's been guarding her leader key card. This card is very important for the test. Suzune says she always keeps it with her and never lets it out of her sight. Ayano Koji asks her to show it to him just once. Suzune is unsure at first, but Ayano Koji says he just wants to see it for a second. She agrees and shows him the card before quickly putting it back. Just then, Yamachi walks by and smears mud on Suzune's head as a joke. Suzune gets angry and throws him into a nearby river. Yamachi could have gotten hurt, but Ayano Koji steps in and pulls him out in time. A few hours pass, and Suzune goes to take a bath under a waterfall near the river. She's alone and nearly unclothed, but after she finishes bathing, she gets dressed and heads back to the camp. Ayano Koji notices something strange. Ibuki is missing. He becomes alert and starts paying close attention. Soon after, Suzune asks him to meet her in a private part of the forest. Ayano Koji follows her. Once they are alone, Suzune tells him something bad. Her keycard is missing. It has been stolen. Ayano Koji stays calm and tells her not to let anyone else know. They have to find the thief quietly. Suzune tells him she suspects either K, since they've been arguing lately, or a weird student from Class C. Ayano Koji says Ki did not do it and explains that he believes Ibuki is the most likely suspect. After they talk, Suzune asks for a little time alone to think. While she's sitting in the forest, she suddenly smells smoke. She runs back to the camp and finds a fire burning. Someone has set fire to the class manual, which contains their plans and important rules. Everyone rushes to put out the fire. Once the flames are gone, the camp falls into chaos. Students start blaming each other. Ayano Koji watches quietly, not getting involved. Then Kushida notices that Ibuki is missing. This makes it even clearer that she might be the one behind everything. Sudo, known for his loud and emotional reactions, puts everything together. He loudly announces that Ibuki was the spy who caused all the problems. The students look to Harada to lead, but he seems lost and panicked. Ayano Koji steps in and calms him down. Harada then gives out tasks for everyone to do. Suzune decides to chase after Ibuki. She finds her walking away in the forest. Suzune stops her and demands the return of her keycard. Ibuki does not want to talk and becomes aggressive. She sees that Suzune is weak and not feeling well. Taking advantage of that, she attacks her. Suzune tries to defend herself, but her illness makes her slow and tired. Ibuki is too strong. She punches Suzune several times, knocking her down. Then she runs off and leaves her behind. After escaping, Ibuki reaches a hidden place where she pulls out the stolen keycard. She takes out a small radio from her bag and contacts someone. She speaks into the radio and tells Katsuragi from Class A that the mission is complete. She has stolen the keycard and beaten up Suzune. Ibuki smiles, knowing she has succeeded in her plan. After stealing Suzune's leader card, Ibuki uses a small ham radio to contact Kato High from Class C. She tells him that she has the card, and their mission is complete. This confirms that Class A and Class C have been secretly working together all along. Meanwhile, Ayano Koji finds Suzune lying unconscious in the forest. He carefully carries her to a quiet cave and waits for her to wake up. When she opens her eyes, Ayano Koji explains everything that has happened. He also tells her that her sickness has gotten worse. He suggests she drop out of the survival test to recover. However, Suzune refuses. She feels that losing the card was her fault and says it's because she did not have any real friends to support her. After saying this, she faints again from exhaustion. Ayano Koji does not waste time. He lifts her up and takes her to the teacher's base camp. There, Suzune officially drops out of the test so she can get medical help. On the final day of the test, the students begin cleaning up their campsite. Every class is now getting ready for the last challenge, guessing the leaders of the other classes. Class B decides not take any chances and chooses not to guess any names. They think it's better to play it safe and avoid losing points. While many are unsure what to do, Ayano Koji quietly gives a list of names to Waido-suke, who is still upset and frustrated. The list contains names of students who might be the leaders of the other classes. Yato-suke writes them down without asking too many questions. At the final assembly, Kakeru Ryuin from Class C steps forward and reveals a shocking plan. He tells everyone that he made a secret deal with Keitahai from Class A. In this deal, Class C used 200 points to buy useful supplies for Class A. In return, Class C would receive either a picture of Class A's leader card or the real card itself. After spending 200 points, Class C quickly used the remaining 100 on other things. Most of the Class C students then left the test early. Only 3 remained behind: Kakuromi Ibuki and Satoru Kaneda, who had been secretly spying on Class B. Class C makes their guesses about the leaders. They guess that Yahiko Tatsuka is the leader of Class A, Chiero Shiranami is the leader of Class B, and Suzune Horikita and Suzune leader of Class D. Finally, the results of the test are revealed. To everyone's surprise, Class D wins first place with a total of 225 points. Class B comes in second with 120 points, Class A is third with 120 points, and Class C ends up with 0 points. After the test, all the students return to the cruise ship. Urisu Sakayanagi, a top student from Class A, speaks privately and reveals that everything happened according to her plan. She wanted to make everyone lose trust in Kato Hei so he would lose his control over the class. One of her trusted allies, Masayoshi Hashimoto, had secretly told Kakeru about Class A's real leader, which ruined Kato Hei's strategy. Watching the ship from a distance, Suzune is shocked by the results. She does not understand how Class D could have won, especially after all the trouble she faced. Later, she finds Ayano Koji and asks him what really happened. Ayano Koji calmly explains everything. He says he let Ibuki steal her leader card on purpose. He also made sure Suzune dropped out of the test so he could secretly register himself as the new leader of Class D. That way, when Class A and Class C guessed Suzune's name, they would be wrong. As for the other leaders, Ayano Koji says that he only saw the back of Kato Hai's card. But knowing how careful Kato Hai is, Ayano Koji figured out that Yahiko must be the real leader of Class A for Class C. He saw Kakuru with the same type of radio Ibuki used, so he guessed that Kakuru was Class C's leader. He chose not to find Class B's leader because he did not want to damage Class D's good relationship with Class B. He knew that Canada, the spy from Class C, would try to find that answer anyway. Suzune is amazed. She realizes that Ayano Koji had planned everything and had been helping her from behind the scenes. She asks him what his true goal is, especially as he says he does not care about moving up to Class A. But before she can get a clear answer, she finds out that Ayano Koji gave all the credit for the victory to her. Now everyone in Class D believes Suzune is the reason they won. This helps build trust and unity in the class. The students celebrate their success and thank Suzune for her hard work. She feels awkward and surprised but does not tell them the truth. Later, Kikyo Kushida speaks to Ayano Koji in private. She tells him that she secretly hates Suzune because she's too honest and has no dark side. She then asks Ayano Koji who he would trust more, her or Suzune. Ayano Koji does not give her a direct answer. Kikyo calls him mean for not choosing, but Ayano Koji stays silent. Soon after, Ayano Koji gets a message from his teacher, Seichabashira, asking him to meet her in the ship's theater. Meanwhile, Honami Ichinos from Class B talks with Kanzaki about their test performance. They discuss how the points system works, and what they should do with their remaining points. They both feel something is off about how things were explained during the test. Elsewhere, Kakuru admits that his main reason for teaming up with Class A was to get money. The plan was for each Class C student to sign a contract promising to give 20,000 points every month until graduation. But the plan failed. Kato Hei from Class A is criticized by his classmates for trusting Class C. It turns out that Arisu Sakayanagi had one of her people secretly ruin Kato Hei's plan. Later, Ayano Koji meets with Seichabashira. She praises him for what he has done. Ayano Koji then asks her who tried to get him expelled. He does not want to be part of anyone's game without knowing the truth. Sei says she already knows about his past and tells him that his father is the one who requested the expulsion. However, she adds that his father said Ayano Koji would eventually leave on his own. Sei then asks him what he plans to do next. Ayano Koji gives a vague answer and she laughs, saying he reminds her of Icarus, a boy who flew too close to the sun. Later, Suzune talks to Ayano Koji again. She thanks him for everything and says she finally understands that she needs help from others. She says she'll accept him as an ally, but warns him not to get too close because her only goal is to reach Class A. As she walks away, Ayano Koji thinks to himself, he does not really see Suzune, Kushida, or Waido Suka as friends. To him, they are just useful pieces in his game. His time in the White Room taught him that people are only tools to be used. He will do whatever it takes to win. In the end, the only thing that matters to Ayano Koji is victory.